We were so isolated. Daddy tried to ensure that we absolutely never at any point truly knew how. I didn't know harm was large. Turn up a smidgen, however sometimes it very much like it. Get somewhat toxic for my recurrence, you know what I'm talking about? The stories that we need to tell during a period in music where there were guards, there were people that owned marks like Puff running things. It looks like Diddy hit the titles once more, and this time his former craftsman Aubrey O'Day is out to expose his threatening and severe ways of managing awful boy specialists. As Aubrey is now saying, the music mogul has a lot of privileged insights, and the most monitored of them is connected with Diddy's close connections with men. Now apparently Aubrey knows precisely how Puff is catching his craftsman, and he's about to spill everything. So prepare, folks. Furthermore, the things that we encountered between one another and us against the framework. So Diddy is enduring an onslaught once more, and it doesn't appear to astonish anyone this time. He is being exposed by Aubrey O'Day, who the music mogul was working in the 2000s. In her new Real meeting, the vocalist exposed the apparently horrible ways that Diddy uses to stay quiet and how it influences every one of his specialists in a negative manner. Now, Aubrey is saying that the music producer does his best to quiet her and other people who are covering for him with promotions. Also, she is outraged with such unimportant actions. Don't sign this. This is only a method for inspiring you to always be unable to freely talk about what we have encountered. Indeed, dislike fans have previously been speculating about Diddy's clouded side, however it seems like with Aubrey's story, there are more succulent and evil subtleties come to play. Obviously, Diddy's ascent to progress and acclaim was closely connected to some really uncommon and unconventional approaches to managing his craftsmen. What's more, Aubrey knows about it firsthand. This is the way she portrayed her experience of working with Diddy. We were terrified with what would occur with Puff every day. There was only no room for error. Diddy was one of the most extraordinary people you could at any point work with. Now Aubrey appears to have acquired much more confidence being away from Puffy and his iron clench hand, and she is on the mission of exposing the music mogul's violations. Also, particularly she is unyielding to prove how he snares his own specialists into marking craftsmen into marking now to cover his fruity privileged insights. This is only some measly streaming money to remain quieted on Puff. On the off chance that you don't know the subtleties of the backstory, let me separate it to you as of late. Sean Diddy Combs, the founder of Terrible Boy Records, made a lot of buzz in the media, announcing his decision to reassign distributing privileges to some of his specialists. As the music mogul made sense of his unexpected generosity in the meeting, he expressed, "It's simply doing the proper thing. I feel that we as an industry and as a people need to look in the mirror and make a shift forward. It's about evolving, showing others how it's done and showing others how it's done and tree that needs it and a world that needs reform." Now, not everyone accepts that Puffy was doing an early Christmas giveaway due to his limitless graciousness and love for music. Also, as it ended up, the arrangement comes with certain buts for some craftsmen, and Aubrey was quick to give everything away on what's going on in the background of Puffy's generosity. "I need to sign an NDA that I won't ever belittle." Puff Terrible Boy Janice Combs ever out in the open. Now, Aubrey is confident that this is simply one more brilliant strategy created by attorneys who work for Puff to keep his craftsmen quieted and never disclose any provocative or controversial information on their former boss. As she added, everyone who has gotten a draft of this arrangement, including herself, will also need to denounce all that had been said about Diddy in the previous years. "I need to deliver him for any cases or wrongdoings or actions prior to the date of the delivery." As Aubrey added, knowing that Diddy would watch her a falcon, that she would never stoop so low as to take his snare. Yet, for some of his specialists, it is a long-anticipated and offer with a good profit. An arrangement like this looks very good since you really want the money or in light of the fact that you're terrified to at any point go against Puff. "I'm somewhere in the center of I don't give a." She summarized her ex-producer's offer. She depicted it as a couple $100 to transfer ownership of my freedoms to at any point recount the story of what I went through once more. What's more, she needs every other person who at any point worked with Puff to join her on that mission and offer every one of the grimy mysteries before it's too late. Furthermore, they get a similar NDA as she. As Audrey accepts, Puffy couldn't think often less about any distributing freedoms, and the only thing he needs to ensure is that every one of his privileged insights Sadie profoundly covered. However, this reality appears to have pissed her so much that, as opposed to marking any arrangements with Diddy, she will open everything just to prove her point. Suppose I'm the only one now that has come forward. Furthermore, I'm telling you, I'm showing you precisely what the arrangement resembles. Now, fans are confident that Puffy, apparently generous signal, has some secret plan. Furthermore, this no-disclosure bargain is simply one more method for hushing everyone and let Puffy continue doing his wrongdoings without dread of being exposed. As one person commented, "It's miserable you can't confide in your own people. Covetousness is a motherfucker and Diddy merits everything coming for him." What's more, another client added, "This is miserable just to perceive how countless astonishing craftsmen get swindled that way. Indeed, we never expected Puffy to really be a good Samaritan, yet it thinks he knows that some of his craftsmen are now after him and he attempts to quiet them generally together with this significant motion." However, as Aubrey says, Diddy isn't reliable, and she reminded everyone how the music mogul previously deceived and robbed his people. "You're introducing yourself as the benevolent God that is giving everybody back their music. You've turned down millions of dollars to give the millions back to the people of what I'm being offered. A couple $100. Assuming you recollect the stories of people coming up short on his own craftsmen, go as far as possible back to Big Deal. And, surprisingly, his mom once said that Puffy is playing her son grimy yet paying his pennies on the dollar. Furthermore, coincidentally, it's now profoundly hypothesized that Big Deal was intending to leave Terrible Boy Records before his destruction since he handled a more worthwhile arrangement. Another profoundly resonated story connected with Diddy's rapper Maze, who openly charged his boss and owing his few $1,000,000. Also, up to this day, the fight between them is being examined on social media in light of the fact that each side was blaming another for lies. Did one collection with Maze? One collection? How much money do you suppose I owe this person? Clearly, seeing that the story isn't turning its best side and seeing the as of late reopened investigation of Tupac's downfall, Did he understood that he doesn't have good cards in his grasp and he expected to play adroitly. So he made another story and turned away the attention to another topic. As Aubrey says, he settled on a tough choice to protect his filthy privileged insights. What's more, there are a lot of craftsmen who are anxious to acknowledge the arrangement and stop getting the message out about the music mogul. Indeed, it's difficult to accept him knowing how much the music mogul had procured in the previous many years, essentially throwing money left and right on sumptuous gatherings, personal luxury planes and other properties of a lavish way of life, obviously. Aubrey is correct about him having some secret motives with his distributing freedoms giveaway and end, as he's been shipping off his specialists from that point onward. The decision, Aubrey reminded that Puffy has been dealing with people like soil, and he stole millions from them. Diddy is simply in a real sense known as the person that doesn't pay his specialists. What's more, it's amusing. And afterward you move on and you like something that he did on TikTok.